Hey everybody, John Malanca here with my co-host Natasha Trenev, the founder and president and owner of Natren Precision Probiotics, also known as the mother of probiotics. So good to see you as always, Natasha. How are you?
I'm great, and I wish I had better news, but I'm always saying I'm hopeful if we can get people to listen.
Well, this is why we're here, sharing our knowledge. And as you mentioned, if we can help one person, then it's a success. And so here's a topic that has come up quite a bit, and we kind of changed the title to fit the topic: Racing Towards Disaster, America's Health Collapse. And everywhere we turn these days, you're hearing about someone, a colleague, a friend, a family member who is experiencing something that has to do with dis-ease in the body. Dr. Casey Means, I know you and I have spoken quite a bit about her and her brother. She brought up some topics. She's been, I guess she's been shedding some light because she was a whistleblower and just wants to, again, put her foot forward about health and wellness, not only for her circle, but for Americans. And one thing that she's uncovering is big food, big pharma are literally poisoning us. And that's a pretty harsh statement. But she has stats behind it. Metabolic dysfunction, which I know you want to speak about today, now affects 93.2 American adults. Americans live 8 fewer years than the Japanese or the Swiss. Growing up in Japan, I've experienced that firsthand. As well as for each additional serving of ultra-processed food we eat, early mortality increases by 18%. This makes up 67% of the foods our children are eating. And I know that's a topic that you always say on the increased illnesses that are happening to the future of our country, the children. 82% of independently funded studies show harm from processed foods, while 93% of industry-sponsored studies show no harm. And then I'll give you one more here. Actually, a couple more here. 1 billion pounds of synthetic pesticides are being sprayed on our foods every single year. That can't be healthy. And then 95% of the people who created a recent USDA food guidelines for America had significant conflicts of interest with the food industry. And so those are some pretty heavy topics that we're going to be covering in this next series about America's health collapse. Natasha, I know you want to talk about not only antibiotics and what it's doing to gut, but also the metabolic dysfunction that it does affect 93.2 Americans here.
I'm going to keep it simple because I don't want to get too technical because I lose people, because the basic function of your digestive tract and the 100 trillion microbes that line your 27 feet of digestive tract is to convert food into energy without antagonizing the immune system. And you antagonize the immune system when that food comes in with molecules that the immune system cannot recognize. And then it starts turning on the body, literally destroying the body, because its job is to destroy defects in the body in order to save the health of the body. So if people understand that, this microbiome, which contains more genetic material than we have as a human being, and it's all the genetic material of the bacteria in our intestinal tract, is essential. I'm going to underline this, is essential to our health and longevity. And the problem is that we don't understand how this toxic food, that pesticides, who are basically potent antibiotics, which most people don't know, and the literature has shown for the last 40 years that antibiotics are directly related to the proliferation of all kinds of cancers because it destroys the balance of the microbes in the gut. And if we don't understand this, then we don't have a chance of getting better. Because according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, who I follow, every minute of the day, your body loses 3.5 million cells. Your body needs to produce healthy, strong proteins in order to replace those cells every living minute of the day. If it can't produce those healthy proteins, you're going to have something called dis-ease. And that's as simple as that. And the problem is with our health food industry is that we are now mimicking what Big Pharma does. We try to get a supplement to treat symptoms rather than looking at the whole body and how the body will process that supplement, how it will enhance the body without causing immune dysfunction, which occurs. And I just want to stress now, what I want to talk about is very important. In order to turn this around, it's not just stopping the chemicals in the food. It's not just trying to go to organic, because organic foods today are not highly regulated. In other words, are the seeds healthy? Have the seeds been hybrid? There's so many issues we need to tackle. And the first issue is something that concerns the alternative health care practitioner industry and the health food industry. Because what we're doing is we're mimicking big pharma. We are giving supplements to treat symptoms. When you get into so-called probiotics that are given to treat symptoms, it is the most dangerous thing you can probably do to help your patient or the individual who's taking the probiotic. First of all, I can tell you that bacteria are single-celled brain entities. They're smarter than we are, and you cannot just willy-nilly throw something in your body because some maker has used a white label or a contract manufacturer to throw these bacteria in, because you are not going to be helping this very severe problem that is actually going to destroy our nation. It's not just a health crisis, it's a monetary crisis, it's a social crisis, it's a crisis on every level. And the fact is, watching some sexy person tell you about a parasite cleanse, a colon cleanse, or telling you that a soil bacteria is going to take care of something is the worst thing we can do in this industry. The situation is very serious. People cannot tolerate very strong microorganisms in their body because their immune system will not tolerate it. We have to be very careful what microorganisms we put in our body, for the small, for the large intestine, for the transient flora. If we don't watch that, there is no chance that we're going to get better. Yes, we have to change our diet. Yes, we have to do more exercise. We've become a sedentary society. But let me just tell you, for 56 years, I have been saying repeatedly that every disease begins in the gut. And that disease begins from all of these other functions that we do on a daily basis. And if we don't sincerely change and start looking for a magic fix and really concentrate on helping ourselves and our friends and our family, we're not going to get better, because our attention span is that of a gnat. We just want to hear things for 30 seconds and think we're going to change something that is so messed up that we need to spend hours trying to figure it out and listen to people who have had success dealing with these issues. We're not here to cure disease. We're here to give the body the proper tools so it can heal itself. That's one thing, if I can impart on people in this series, is that curing disease is not the function of the alternative medical field or the health food field. Our function is to give the body the tools to heal itself. It's not a defective instrument. It is a perfect biological machine that we have destroyed willingly by our ignorance.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
And I know you're very, very, very passionate about that. And, hearing you talk, and I've presented at numerous conferences that we put on, as well as a lot of conferences in the cancer world. And this always seems to be the same topic of what we're putting in our body, how important what we put in our body. We are a popping pill community, I should say. There's even a pill called opioid-induced constipation for what it's doing to the gut. All the opioids that we're taking, bringing constipation, backing up, and now they have another pill that will literally says opioid-induced constipation. Natasha, you're talking about the domino effect, about all these, what's the metabolic dysfunction in the body and how it affects, there's a whole wide range of health problems associated with this. And inflammation, of course, obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, chronic illnesses, but also in the gut. And so, I'm very fortunate. I get to talk to you every day about these topics. And I don't mind listening because probably your family members like, enough, mom, enough, mom. But you're here sharing, and you're the wealth of information with that. What can you talk about? What can you share about what people can do? Because I even have friends and family when I recommend probiotics to help balance out what they're going through, and they want to, nope, I'm going to listen to my doctor and I'm taking this. And then 6 months or a year later, they said, what's that probiotic thing you were talking about, and how can it help? And so sometimes, sometimes it you have to allow the patient to go down the course to realize, because it's like making what's the term? Can't bring a horse to water and make them drink.
You can't make anybody drink water if they don't want to.
Yeah, and so that's what I share, and that's what I share with families as well. John, they're not listening to me, and I say, it's not your journey, it's their journey. Let them take that journey and realize, because the majority of the time they'll come back and say, you know what, I will accept that help now. And so this is what you do on a daily basis, and this is why we do these talks. Is there anything you would like to add to this?
I think we need to do a whole series of question and answers, but here it is: the confusion about functional foods. Since I set the yogurt standard in the state of California in 1969, there are certain things we call starter cultures that are used to ferment food into a more digestible, absorbable form. That's what a functional food is. And those bacteria are slightly probiotic. They don't necessarily implant and stay in our body, but they make lactic acid, which is very important. But the problem is, since there is no guidelines, no government oversight, you have no idea if that yogurt that somebody's calling a yogurt is really a yogurt and using the true starter cultures, or if a product somebody labels a kefir is really a true kefir, or if somebody that's selling kimchi, kombucha, or whatever is really that product and may not cause harm. The biggest problem I have here is the people who take functional foods and say, yes, eat these fermented foods and it's going to fix your gut. That's like telling me you have an amputated arm and you're going to use a Band-Aid to fix it. It does not work. Most importantly, people don't understand that these are cultural foods established upon generation and generation of people who are used to consuming these foods and getting results. They're not intended for different cultures to use them in large quantities because we don't know what the effect is. That's why when I introduced the whole category of probiotics to North America in 1982, I only chose 4 microbes. Why? Because I realized I have to choose microbes that evolved with human beings, that are safe at any level, and have never shown to cause any harm of any kind to the human being. It's very important because some microbes can do some good, but if they're allowed to overgrow, can cause harm. And some of them that become antibiotic resistant can also produce toxins. And why do bacteria or yeast produce toxins? It's to dominate their territory. So you have a very delicate ecosystem that you're just throwing in anything you hear about somebody talking about who has probably not a clue what they're selling, but they read some material and they have a very good way of delivering that information so you believe them. Well, if you haven't gotten results from the food that you're eating, what I tell people, if you have chronic problems, if you have immune system problems, you need to change your diet. You need to start a walking program, and you need to use only those probiotic organisms that can do no harm at any level and are taken care of so that they're enticed to produce results for the people that intake them. And that's why I encourage you. Well over 10 million people have taken Healthy Trinity and the Healthy Start system for 42 years. I have never gotten a complaint of anybody going to urgent care, the doctor, the hospital, God forbid. Nobody's ever gotten sick taking these products. And that's what I want to impress upon you. Everybody right now in the United States, according to these stats, is in a compromised position. Very few are just doing fabulously, whether it's their outlook and perception of life or whether it's the food they consume, but very few have really figured this out. And so I'm challenging you with this health crisis. We need to start somewhere. We need to start eating fresh foods, forget about the cans, forget stuff in a box, Forget stuff that makes you feel good, because it only makes you feel good for a minute. And then it affects your brain, it affects your gut, it affects your heart, it affects your liver, it affects your kidney, it affects every organ in your body. So that one is to say a sweet moment on the lips, and then you got this problem for a lifetime. And so please, go to the Natren website, call one of our people, see why I'm still working. I don't need to be here. I'm going to turn 77 next month. And I'm still working because my passion is to help people. It was never just to make money. I could have sold products in mass market, made a lot more money, make my life less complicated. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to give you something that can do no harm and will deliver results. I encourage you to change your diet, choose a low carbohydrate diet that's free on our website, buy either the Healthy Trinity or the Healthy Start system, call somebody at our place, help make a customized protocol for yourself, because it's like going to the gym. 40 years ago, people went to the gym and just used a treadmill. Right now, you can't just take a magic pill of probiotics and expect a miraculous change in a very complex ecosystem. So you need somebody that's had experience, that can, first of all, do no harm, and has a vested interest in making you better, not just selling you a product. That's where we've come in this country. And that's what we need to realize. Who are the pioneers who started this industry? And their only desire, first of all, was to help people and then make money. And that's what I'm, trying to appeal to people to give our company a call. And I said it's 866, the number 4, Natren, Natren, and take my challenge. See if you don't feel better following our program than you have on anything else you've tried in your life. And that's why I want to be here, because I want to work with people like Casey Means, Callie Means, anybody that's in here to change America's health system. Because right now, just eating organic foods, in my humble opinion, is not going to change the microbiome. Or just eating so-called fermented foods that don't have a standard is not going to change the microbiome significantly. You have to have, when the problems become so severe, you have to have a reasonable supplementation program before you get everybody to a healthy place.
Well said, and I will also accept your challenge as well. And so, for our audience, thank you, Natasha. I know for what Natasha is also offering to the audience, and her challenge is promo code GUT25, 25% off your first order there. And you're doing something right. 56 years, 42 years with this company. 56 years with the health industry, 42 years with this organization, Natren, and over 10 million. I thought it was more than that, but 10 million bottles sold. But you're doing something right.
What's that? Minimum. I'm sure we sold more, but that's the minimum amount that I can think of.
Good. Anyway, but thank you for all your knowledge, and also offering a challenge to our audience. GUT25 on Natasha's website, natren.com, and or 866 the number 4 and Natren is the phone number there. So Natasha, always a pleasure seeing you, and let's help bring uncollapse this America's health collapse, which is happening right now.
Yeah, we have to go in the right direction.
Yeah. So when you're there, it's only one way up. So anyway, great seeing you. I'm the host with my co-host, one of the hosts, John Malanca, Natasha Trenev. We'll see you soon. Thanks again for following us. Leave your comments as well as other topics you'd like us to cover. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.